Members, we would need a motion to reconvene post recess. Is there a motion to come back to?
I'll move.
So, so moved. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a motion and a second. Will we call the roll?
June Elkins Baker.
Aye.
Reverend Ray Douglas.
Yes.
Hannah Royce.
Yes.
Reverend Derek Scobie.
Yes.
Stephen Buck.
Yes.
Leslie Nesmith.
Yes.
Ryan Haney.
Yes.
Aaron Inglekey.
Yes.
Chris Steele.
Yes.
We have now returned to regular session.
Members, I think at this point, the most appropriate thing to do would be to go through a series of votes. And if the first vote may be if we're only allowed to recommend one recommendation to the county commissioners for the vacancy on the jail trust, who would it be? A second vote may be if we were allowed to recommend two recommendations to the county commissioners for the vacancy on the jail trust, who would they be? And we'll go to the third. If we were allowed to recommend three, who would they be? Just so that we can, if they say we only want one, we'll go with our top. And if they allow us to have more, we can do that as well.
Mr. Chair,
yeah.
Would it be possible to just do either a one or the slate, the whole slate? I think that would save us time and probably give the board of the county commissioners the most options.
We could do that. Seeing no objections, that sounds great. So let me just make sure that we're not leaving anybody out. We have the following recommendations that have been put forth: Adam Luck, Stacy Coe, Marquise Miller, Derek Scobie, and then the position of chair or vice chair from the Citizens Advisory Board. Am I leaving anyone out?
I'm sorry. I just need some clarification on what Ryan said. So we will not vote as far as 1, 2, or 3. We just send all of them. Okay.
We'll vote first for our top recommendation.
Okay.
If we can only make one recommendation, who would it be?
Okay.
And we'll do that through going through each one and voting yes or no.
Okay.
Is this your top recommendation?
Okay.
And then beyond that, we will say that there would be a slate of recommendations that we would put forth. Okay. So let me looking for some help here, but let me suggest that what I would like to do is get to a point where we can put forth our top recommendation if we're only allowed to make one recommendation. But then I would also like to have for the Citizens Advisory Board to consider a second vote if we're able to make more than one recommendation, who those recommendations would be.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Leslie.
we may have been, I actually, go ahead. I think we may have been on the same page.
So in the spirit of the conversation, as I understand it, I move that the CAB take two separate votes on this agenda item. The first vote shall be to recognize or to recommend a majority holding nominee for submission to the county commissioners. The second vote would be to endorse a slate of potential candidates for consideration by the county commissioners.
I will second that motion.
Yeah.
Is there discussion
That's what I was thinking.
or debate? Seeing none, we'll call the roll.
June Elkins Baker,
I,
Reverend Ray Douglas,
Yes.
Hannah Royce,
yes.
Reverend Derek Scobie,
Yes.
Stephen Buck,
Yes.
Leslie Nesmith,
Yes.
Ryan Haney,
Yes.
Aaron Inglekey,
Yes.
Chris Steele.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so at this time, we are going to vote on the majority holding recommendation from the Citizens Advisory Board to fill the vacancy on the jail trust. And this recommendation will be given and presented to the county commissioners. The way that we should potentially make this vote is by, I'm looking, nominating, like voting on each individual person. And if you want the person, like for instance, Adam Luck, if you want Adam Luck to be the one person that we would nominate, you would vote yes on Adam's name. If you want somebody else, you would vote no on Adam and vote yes for the name that you would recommend. Is that right? Lynn, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question for those individuals that were recommended, or Adam Luck, Stacy Cole, Marquise Miller. Have you spoke with them?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And they're willing to serve on, in that capacity or on a subcommittee.
Okay.
And I have reached out to Adam, but have not heard back.
Okay.
So at this point, we would offer a recommendation on who the majority holding.
You said have discussion and then vote, right? Ms. Chairperson, I move that we vote on the chair or vice chair's position to add.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Is there discussion?
I'm going to ask a question. I apologize. So is the idea that we would vote for only one of these? So if we vote, if we say a vote in favor of having either the chair or vice chair, then that's your vote. You're not going to vote on any of these others? Because you see what I'm saying here?
Correct.
So you would vote yes for that, right? Or no, or abstain.
So if I vote yes on that, then I wouldn't vote, say yes for Ryan's guy.
Yeah, it's not Chicago.
Okay.
Right. The one vote means that if we only have one name, you're going to choose your top
Okay.
person. So we have a motion, we have a second.
Gotcha.
If that's not your top choice, then vote no on that.
Okay.
Now, it's possible that someone else, before we even take that vote, could say, well, I make a motion that the top person be this. This is the reality.
I
of
make
it.
a motion that the top person be Adam Luck, that we vote on and have a discussion first.
We currently have Pastor Douglas's motion, however.
Right. You can always, we'll have to amend the motion, I suppose. Pastor Douglas, do you want to amend your motion,
Or do we need to move forward with a vote on
I
that
think he
one?
wants to
I
vote.
think we should vote.
Okay.
And for the purposes of discussion, I'll just say I think it's an interesting idea. I'm going to vote no because ultimately I think that this board's recommendation should be a recommendation that we should put forth the best recommendation that's likely to be accepted by the county commissioners. And I don't think that they would go for a chair that could be anybody and could change frankly, on a monthly basis. So for that reason, I'll be voting no.
Any further discussion?
I would just also reiterate, and I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but for this moment in time, both the chair and vice chair are Caucasian, and I just think that diversity is so incredibly important in the composition of the jail trust. I would also say this, statistically, according to the last census, African Americans comprise 8% of our total state's population and 48% of the jail population in Oklahoma County. 48% of the jail population in Oklahoma County. The disparity is beyond alarming. I feel so strongly that we need diversity and equal representation, or at least a step toward equal representation on the jail trust. And so for that reason, Pastor Douglas, I too will be voting no.
Hearing what you say, and I'm in total agreement with you, Mr. Chairperson. On the current jail trust, African Americans are, I know of 2, possibly 3, so 2 now. And so when we talk about diversity, and I think that we have to really be diverse, but if we choose someone simply because of their skin color, we're not really being diverse. I think that we want to choose qualified people and come to the hope. We're not there yet, but come to the hope, regardless of a person's skin color, that they can make good decisions, right decisions, and be moral and ethical and righteous. And I know we're not there yet, but I believe in hope. That's what I'm praying for, and I'm willing to try the fact that I think that people can operate with integrity regardless of the color of their skin.
I concur.
Totally agree.
I need to say something. One of the things that I think is important for us to understand, that if you do not have diversity in thought, then you don't necessarily have diversity in population. Right. And so, that's what I say on that. It doesn't matter who we put on, but if they're unwilling to go forward with another way of thinking and to be inclusive, then we're stuck.
Is there additional discussion? And let me just say thank you all for this discussion. This is sort of why I believe that we're here, and I hope that we can continue to have these kinds of discussions.
I would just like to say that both of my people have diversity. Marquise is African American, and Stacy is white, and she is a felon.
Mr. Chair. So if my screen is showing an availability to make a motion, but the deal, so we do have a motion on the floor, and it's Pastor Douglas's motion.
Yes.
And we have a second. Your
Correct.
second.
That was my second. Okay, I just want to make sure that my commentary was going to be germane. And I will tell you, I am supportive of designating chair or vice chair at this time for this reason. I'm going to articulate my reason. I know a couple of the other nominees. I have familiarity with them. I'm sorry, Leslie, I don't know the 2 individuals you're talking about. And as we go through this panel without biography, I'm really struggling giving them standing in the process simply from a lack of knowledge. And so I'm going to be supporting the pastor's motion as a matter of process, because our chair, vice chair is known. We've worked with them. But my hope is, and what we transmit to the county commissioners, that we have sent them a robust group of nominees in our second motion that allows them to identify who might be most helpful if that's the path they want to walk. So I appreciate the motion, but I really struggle with not having knowledge of people and then being yay or nay on their qualification.
I totally understand. I was concerned about that as well. I would almost prefer that they come in and talk to this committees and answer questions and that sort of thing. So, but I felt like we're being pressed to make a decision today. So that's all.
Okay, we have a motion in front of us. Will there be additional discussion? Will there be debate? Seeing none, we will call the roll.
All right,
Wait,
this
do you
is
wanna-
going to
Do you
be,
want to know what the motion is?
Are we still on the chair?
Yes. So the motion in front of us is that the recommendation to the county commissioners to fill the vacancy on the jail trust would either be the chair or vice chair of the Citizens Advisory Board.
Assuming they only want one recommendation.
June Elkins Baker,
Aye.
Reverend Ray Douglas,
Yes.
Hannah Royce,
No.
Reverend Derek Scobie,
Abstain.
Stephen Buck,
Yes.
Leslie Nesmith,
No.
Ryan Haney,
No.
Aaron Ingleke,
Yes.
and Chris Steele.
No.
All right, we've got 4 yes, 4 no, 1 abstain.
Therefore, the motion does
The
not.
motion does not pass.
Okay.
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 Anyone else have a motion for the number one pick?
I'd move that we vote on Adam Luck as the number 1 pick.
There's a motion to advance Adam Luck as the number 1 recommendation. Is there a second?
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Will there be discussion?
Yes. I have certainly, I've heard everything that has been shared, and I believe that I can certainly openly express the way I feel, especially because my name is listed as one to be considered. I do believe that diversity is very important, but at the same time, like Pastor Douglas shared, I believe that the person who is best qualified certainly should be the person that is put forth. Adam Luck has proven himself over and over and over again to do the right thing, regardless of who is concerned or cares or in disagreement with him. He has moved forward with integrity, with the strongest character, and even at times when things, well, he was spoken about in a disparaging manner, he's never strike back. So I just believe if we want to talk about diversity for a moment, I'll just say, as it relates to the African American community, he is a friend to the African American community. The only people who would be in disagreement would be people who did not know him and know his character. So for that reason, and I believe that I don't know every person, Leslie, I do know Pastor Marquise Miller. He is a fine, fine gentleman. I think I'm a decent fella, but Adam Luck is far more qualified than everyone that I know of on that list, except I don't know the lady. So for that reason, I believe that he should be the person we vote and vote yes on.
If you don't mind, I'd like to make a comment or two. So in light of Mr. Haney, Mr. Buck, and Mr. Scobie's comments, and it sounds like Adam Luck is an outstanding candidate, I would like to put my recommendations onto the slate list, and we can move forward with Ryan's recommendation. Does that make sense? Okay.
I just want to, oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I don't,
No.
I'm not really trying to rush you, but I'm also watching the clock. And I know
Yeah.
that they're going to come out here in a few minutes, so we're going to have to figure out what to do.
I really quickly just wanted to speak on Adam Luck's character as well. When I was working for Downtown Oklahoma City Partnership, Mr. Luck was the first to give me my first tour of the jail. And I would say that is really when, about 2017, 2018, I really piqued an interest in what I could do to help. And it was because of people like Adam Luck and Rachel Freeman that, without getting emotional, that like I really turned to this work. So I would be so excited to see a voice and hear a voice like Adam's on the jail trust. I think it's super crucial.
I'd like to say that the next time if we have to do something like this, it would be great for the individuals to come in, because I'm not one of these that just follow suit. And I don't just follow suit. And so I don't know him. And I hear what you're saying, Reverend Scobie, and what everybody else is saying, but it puts me in a very difficult position, almost blind in some ways. And so I think that's something that we may want to do the next time.
June, I think that's an excellent recommendation. I do want to add to the discussion. I know Adam well, considered him one of my dear friends, one of my closest friends. He is an incredible person, highly, highly qualified, brilliant, wonderful, a friend to everyone. He's the real deal through and through. I will be happy if he is the recommendation, but I still contend that the nomination needs to be a person of color. And I think that there are people of color that are also incredibly qualified to serve in this role. And given the disparities, the racial disparities that exist within our jail population, it's very, very important for me, for people who are most impacted, to see themselves in the decision making. And for those reasons, I will be voting no for Adam, but I love him and he would do a phenomenal job if the committee and the board so chooses to advance him as the lead recommendation. Will there be additional discussion?
I'll echo everything everyone else has said, and then echo my sentiment from the last time we discussed before a vote, and that's just that I think it's really important that we put forth someone who the county commissioners are likely to go along with. Otherwise, our voice is not being heard, and so I think Mr. Luck fits that description, and would be. I would encourage you to reconsider, Mr. Chairman, before we vote.
Thank you, Brian. Additional discussion?
I would like to share something else, echoing really what Ryan has said. I believe in the current climate that we are in our county, city, state, country. I believe that Adam Luck's voice really will be one that would probably rise above the rest of the voices, and people would hear, and people would listen to, and certainly for that reason and many others, I would definitely be voting yes.
It's my last note, and then I think we should vote. But I just want to say also the capacity of the people on this board, right? Because I do feel like if Scobie or if one of our chairs serves, that puts us on more subcommittees and more meetings. And I know that with what everyone does, I think, and I know that Adam does a lot on his own, of course. So if he is willing and able to serve, but hopefully that also spreads the work out and allows us to toss the baton to folks that have best interests in mind. So
Again, really rich, really meaningful, really significant discussion. I thank you all for sharing your honest points of view. We will call the roll.
All right, this is calling roll for Adam Luck. June Elkins Baker,
Abstain.
Reverend Ray Douglas,
Abstain.
Hannah Royce,
yes.
Reverend Derek Scobie,
Yes.
Stephen Buck,
Yes.
Leslie Nesmith,
Yes.
Ryan Haney,
Yes.
Erin Engelke,
Yes.
and Chris Steele.
No.
All right, looks like the motion does pass. We've got 6 yes, 1 no, 2 abstain.
Motion passes. Our recommendation to the county commissioners for the vacancy on the jail trust will be Adam Luck,
Assuming that they only allow us.
assuming that they only allow one
One
recommendation. Fine choice.
Mr. Chairperson, on the second, I move that we would then just submit the entire slate that we had suggested if we are able to, as the second motion, that, and they choose from all of those names on the second one.
So the recommendation is that our second motion, if they would consider more than one recommendation, would include Stacy Coe, Marquise Miller, Derek Scobie, Adam Luck, and the chair or vice chair of the Citizens Advisory Board Committee.
I'll second that.
Is there discussion?
One, I don't know if this is discussion or a question of procedure, so if you'd grant me the latitude. Is it within, for specifically, again, I don't know the two candidates you put forward. Is it incumbent upon us to request that we send a brief bio with the recommendations to the committee or to the county commissioners? Or is it upon the county commissioners to request that if they so desire?
Well, they haven't specifically asked for that, but if we present it to them, they are certainly free to use it or disregard it as they wish.
So to the motion, would you accept an amendment to request bios and transmit that with our recommendations?
Yes, I accept that amendment.
Yeah, whatever I need to do.
Motion has been amended to include the caveat that we would send bios of each person that's recommended to the county commissioners.
And Mr. Haney, you have amended your second as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Seeing no additional discussion, we will call the roll.
June Elkins Baker,
Aye.
Reverend Ray Douglas,
Yes.
Hannah Royce,
Yes.
Reverend Derek Scobie,
Yes.
Stephen Buck,
Yes.
Leslie Nesmith,
Yes.
Ryan Haney,
Yes.
Aaron Ingleke,
Yes.
and Chris Steele. Motion passes.
Okay, agenda item number 7. If I can get back to, I think I'm on the county commissioners. I think it's just our next.
Fifth scheduled special meeting, Wednesday, August 10th.
Our next scheduled meeting for the Citizens Advisory Board is August 10th at 9 a.m. And I think with that, we have an motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second that
There's a
motion.
motion and a second. Before we vote, I would just like to say thank you to this board. Listen, this process is important. It's important that everyone on this board have the opportunity to be heard and that we consider all points of view. And I think that we landed in a really good spot in making this recommendation. And I thank you for that. And with no objection, we will accept the motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
I think she has to call the roll.
June Elkins Baker,
Aye.
Reverend Ray Douglas,
Yes.
Hannah Royce,
Yes, ma'am.
Reverend Derek Scobie,
Yes.
Stephen Buck,
Yes.
Leslie Nesmith, Ryan Haney,
Yes.
Aaron Ingleke,
Yes.
and Chris Steele.
Yes.
We are adjourned.